OG, I'm 35, and yeah, I'm a youngster. But no, what I'm saying is that I remember when I first started with black and white headshot. Like I remember things was different.
Yes, sir. Yes,
So
sir.
that's what I mean. And I remember growing up around the OGs that I grew up. Like if you found out I was somewhere, that was 3 days later. I'm not gonna tell you where I'm at when I'm there. Like, what are you talking about? Like that's the love. Like that's, I guess, old habits that I'm still like, I don't know. This is the streets, I guess. I'm like, I don't want nobody to know where I'm at. Somebody might run up on me. But on the I guess the love side of it is, again, looking at it from a business perspective, is that like I mentioned before, when I think as an artist, that's just me in front of the camera. Once I'm out in front of the camera, I'm thinking as a businessman, meaning that how am I going to show investors, potential of financial growth for them? Like, and social media does that. Social media gives you analytics, and that's what we really have to take power of. It's not about just posting, what I ate, and being strategic, making a plan with it all. That's how you take advantage of social media, not just throwing up random stuff you and your cousin in the living room, watching whatever, I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But having a particular business plan on how to show analytics to prove, give this person that's gonna gamble $40 million confidence to put in you. Like I have friends that are 23 million on social media. I'm not big on social media. That's something that I battle with. But I know friends that make an incredible living off of it because they're able to show these investors, like I have 26 million followers, and then they can gauge that how they want to gauge it. But it's all about from the investor's point of view that a lot of these individuals come in and they get their opportunity. Because before it was social media, it was music. Remember when all the rappers and R&B artists was getting all the roles? Before it was models. So it's just a different version of what's already been happening. And it's always comes from a person that's the business mind, not the artist. The business mind is always trying to figure out, how can I take advantage? How can I make less of a risk? That's all their whole mentality. How can I make less of a risk? So if this person is popular doing X, Y, and Z, I'm gonna choose that just because I'm gambling already. So how, as an artist, how do you put yourself in a position to be great artistically and also put yourself in a position business-wise to speak their language in order to succeed? And again, I spent 10 years on running in circles, running in the same place. And it wasn't until I began to build the business side of things that I saw things really soar in a way that I never saw before. And I always stress, as artistic as you are, that should be automatic. That should be automatic. And your focus should be on your business and how you can build your brand and how you can be, how you can make these investors exciting about you. Whether it's through social media numbers. Again, I don't have large social media numbers, so that's not my strength. But there's some people that's how they get their opportunity. But it should be used as a business. Use it as analytics. Use it as a tool to prove to these investors that you're bankable.
Thank you.
You did say bankable.
Is there an actor or director that you desire to work with, and who are they?
Yeah, they're on the stage. Seriously.
All right.
I'm trying to disappoint you.
How did your family feel when you chose this profession, and how has your family life been affected or impacted, if at all?
When I told my mom I wanted to be an actor, she didn't completely take it away from me, but she wanted me to have something to fall back on. So I majored in fire science. I thought I would be a fireman. Took the test in LA, passed the test, was assigned, and didn't show up. Because I didn't want to do that. So my mother said, "Boy, what is wrong with you?" I said, "Mama, the income doesn't match my dreams." She said, "Well, you need to wake up, right?" Right? But then later, when I was able to have some success, and she was able to acquire some things because of that, she's changed her song significantly. You know, Mama's got my back, but it's, you know, you have to believe in who you are and what you really know you should be doing. Just like the brothers were saying earlier, and then follow that path. Don't give up.
Yeah, my mom, I don't think she really cared what I do as long as it was a job at something. So like she gave me 1 year out of high school. She was like, after that you gotta get a job. Because my mom worked for the county for the past, she's about to retire. I think she's 47 years working for LA County. So she's by the book. You get you a county job and that's what you do.
Right?
That's what you do. So, yeah. So like, my mom never got excited for any of the stuff that I used to do. I used to book 10 different TV shows and she'd be like, oh, okay, cool. Make sure you pay your bills. Make sure your rent is due. Your credit card bill is on the 22nd. Like everything. Like one of my greatest moments was that I said I booked my own TV series before, this movie after movie, nothing, no excitement. So the day I booked The Equalizer with Denzel Washington, she lost her damn mind. I said,
Okay.
really? I'm out here busting my ass, all this shit, couldn't get a smile. And she threatened that if I didn't get a picture with Denzel, don't come home. Like, I'm literally last day waiting for him outside, just like, yo, I know, I've been here. I know I'm off today. But mom said, I can't come home without getting a picture with you. So, he just looked at me like, for real? Like, yeah, so I need to get home. I need this picture. So yeah. And even then, since that, nothing. nothing. Denzel's the only thing that make it happen.
Yeah, but that is Denzel though.
It's Denzel. I get it.
Y'all got me
Miss
talking.
Addie didn't stand in the way. She didn't understand it, but she didn't stand in the way because I was, I wasn't doing anything wrong. I was going to rehearsal. I was in classes and stuff. So she said, as long as you're busy and, we good. I don't think it really clicked for her until my first film came out, which was Living Large. And we had gone to the premiere, and we're at the after party afterwards. And Harry Belafonte was at the after party.
Right, somebody.
And I have this picture of my mother sitting next to Harry Belafonte, and she looks like she's 16 years old. The smile on her face. I mean, that whole day was Princess Day for her. We brought her into New York and had my friend take her shopping and get her hair done and her nails done. And so she had new clothes and hair. And she's sitting there next to him, and she's just like beaming, right? So he gets up and leaves, and she looks at me, she goes, Terrence, that's Harry Belafonte. I said, yeah, I know, Mom. She said, oh my God, this is wonderful. And ever since after that, she started to understand, like, oh, my son actually does this, and he's gonna be okay. He's gonna be okay. And so after that, she kind of was cool with it. She got a little overwhelmed with the people coming up sometimes. We go out to lunch and stuff like that, and she got a little over that. And I think most family members get over that after a point. It's exciting at first, and then it becomes a little intrusive for them because they want to have their time with you. But yeah, I think she enjoyed it after a while.
Let's talk about the things that hold you together and keep you together, that sustain you. What are some of those things that sustain you when you're in between projects or when you haven't worked in a long time? What keeps you going?
My therapist. I am an advocate for mental health for our community, especially for Black men. We are under so much pressure to be who we are, it is so much pressure for us to be men in this country, not only in our community, but in our workplace as we walk out the door. And church is church, and it's great to go to church. But sometimes you can't, you need to have a person you need to talk to. Somebody who doesn't have a dog in the fight, where they can just sit and objectively listen to what's going on with you. And so I urge anybody in here, whatever you're going through, if you can find a therapist that you can go and talk to, it'll change your life. It'll change your life. I would not be the person I am standing on this stage today had I not gone and seen this therapist. And she's here, her name is Spirit. And it's a sister, and she is amazing. I came to Atlanta broken. There were times I couldn't even walk out of my door. I couldn't even open my door to go outside to see people because of everything that I was dealing with. After a month or so, 2 months talking to this lady, I started to see the light. I started to see the space for me to be again. And so again, that is the thing that holds me. And my love for my friends and my family. They ground me. They pull my coattail when I get too far out, you know.
For me, I'm just a workaholic. My mom's last name is Hood, so Miss Hood, that's her real last name. Miss Hood, everybody knew when Miss Hood come outside, it's a problem. But growing up, my mom had a rule for me: if you're not doing nothing, you're getting in trouble. So I was always doing something. I was a Boy Scout, I was a part of the choir, I was a basketball player, I was a salsa club, everything. So as an adult, like those habits stuck. So I'm like, for me, like I'm always doing like 8 things at once. So even on my downtime, like whenever I'm not acting, I'm either writing, or whenever I'm writing, I'm either producing. And just again on the business aspect of it, I wanted to be able to be in position for all of my needs. Like, you know, I'm addicted to acting. I'm a crackhead for that. So I said, well, how do I become the drug dealer? Then how do I become the guy on the corner? Then how do I become the guy that supplies him? You know, ultimately leading to me developing my own short film streaming app where I have my own platform that whenever I'm not working, I can go shoot my own projects and distribute it. And like, I wanted to put myself in a position that I can always serve my addiction. That's basically what I did. And it transferred over to writing for network. So whenever I'm not writing for, you know, my show that I'm on, I can write for another show, or develop other shows, or even with the things that I do in my kids program, I teach them acting and film. So everything that I do revolves around acting as my son, and all the things that I built around it just, you know, revolve around it. And so I'm always busy in that sense. So it's never really a downtime other than when I choose to.
I want to make sure you all heard what he just said. He created his own streaming app. So he has a place to put his content. He has distribution for his shit. This is where we need to be. This is what we need to be doing. He has taken control over the narrative. This is where so brother, I applaud you.
Thank you.
Give him some.
I think somebody asked, is Everybody Digital? Everybody Digital, you can download it now. Download it now on Android and Apple. It's for free. It's for the free 99. Go ahead and do that. Find some time. Find time to do it. Everybody Digital.
What's the name?
Everybody Digital. Everybody Digital. Yes.
That's the name.
That's the name. Everybody Digital.
Thank you.
Yeah, for me, I'm truly a person of faith, and my faith is not public, it's private, because you actually walk by yourself through this earth. I have a lot of spiritual guidance that helps me navigate. I have a lot of folks praying for me. I have folks with like my wife's mom. I got here yesterday. I came in early. She needed some things done around the house. For years, in between acting jobs, I was a contractor because I wanted to be able to say no. So I remodeled kitchens and bathrooms and built decks poor driveways with my crew and stuff like that because I was in and out. You know, do a kitchen in like a week and a half, pick up 15 grand, and I'm out. You know, and then I'm available to audition again. So that was what sustained me between acting. Even after Forrest Gump, I remodeled so many kitchens and bathrooms I can't tell you. But it enabled me to say no. You know, and every family member that I go visit, I have tools at their house because they always make me fix stuff when I show up, including yesterday. Y'all should have seen me yesterday. You wouldn't have believed it. But those are the things that keep me rooted and grounded. And I realize every single day that if I make it about me, I'm always under more pressure than if I make it about somebody else. If I wake up and see what I can do for you or for you, I live under less pressure. There was a gentleman I grew up with, his name was Leo Johnson. He was an actor, the first actor I really knew. And he was in an organization called the Buffalo Soldiers. They would bring horses on my block in South Central. They were on a show called High Chaparral. Look for that episode, Buffalo Soldier. But he's Sergeant Johnson. That was my next door neighbor. So I lived between him and a jazz musician on the next side. And Freddie Hubbard would come and practice in my next door garage. Carl Burnett was his drummer. So Freddie Hubbard, Miles Davis, all those cats would be next door to me. Gene Harris, they'd all be in the garage next door smoking weed and sending me to the store for munchie stuff, right? So I lived around a lot of creativity, but they always had my back. They would send me away when they were gonna smoke funny cigarettes, and I'd come back and go, what's that smell? They go, what you doing? How you doing? So they looked out for me. So it's a community. And Mr. Johnson used to teach us this. He would ask us, if you had every day, if some donor that you never met in person gave you $186,400 every single day, what would you do with it? He said, now keep in mind that at midnight, it's going to go away, whatever's left, and he'll give you another $186,400 that day. So how would you spend it? What would you do with it? And he said, and keep in mind that time is your most valuable commodity. It's the only commodity nobody's making more of, right? So he said, what would you do with it? And you don't know how long this donor's gonna be giving you this money. It could stop at any time the donor desires. Then he broke it down after a few weeks. He said, every day, son, you have 186,400 seconds in each day. What are you doing with your 186,400 seconds of every day? How are you spending that time? And so I try to spend it giving as much as possible without wearing myself out. And those are the things that actually keep me humble, keep me focused, and keep me learning. So that's it.
Excuse me. So what kind of tools do I need to have in my garage when you come back the next time? Because I got some things that I need to,
I got tools.
Okay, cool.
You guys have enjoyed careers on television and in film. Which do you enjoy the most, and which is the toughest to prepare for? Is it the television show, or the film, or for TCU doing stage work as well?
Oh, okay. The thing that I enjoy most is being on stage. When you do film and television stuff, you do your takes, you do 3 or 4, and after that, you lose control. You lose control over what it's gonna be. Because again, it's not necessarily just about your acting. When everything else in the scene goes right, when the lighting's right, when the sound is right, when whatever that explosion or whatever, when all of that stuff is right, and yours is just a little okay, they're gonna use that one because everything else is right, and your performance is gonna be what it's gonna be. When you're on stage, when I'm doing theater, I get 2 hours to be totally immersed in this person with nobody stopping me and telling me, no, do it this way, do it that way. So I get to control what you get. I get to control what you see. When I'm singing, I get to decide what that is. I get to decide what you hear. So as an artist, for me, I have the most control in that, in being on stage. Film and television is great because the money's good, but I don't have as much control.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, for me, I didn't do much theater, but for TV and film, it's kind of blended now. The way they shoot things, like I've never been on a sitcom. A lot of the stuff that I've been on has been episodic, so they shoot it just like film. So for me, it's kind of the same as like we're shooting the second season of Last OG right now, which is a 3.5 month shoot. It's a little different just because you have different directors each episode, and you're shooting out of order, similar to what a film is. But you're going through different episodes, and that can be a little confusing. But for me, it's kind of just blended. It's a little blended for me. I know when you do sitcoms, you do with a live audience, you got like 4 days prep, and then you go up on a Friday, which kind of gives you more of a theater type feel. So for me, it's sort of the same. Because TV and film is sort of the same for me.
For me, my preference is cinema, because I get the preparation time. I've done Broadway. We did Fences, did Denzel, Viola.
Mm-hmm.
We worked it out on stage on Broadway first before we did the movie.
Yes.
And I love that process, but you don't always get August Wilson's words.
Right.
And so for me, it's cinema because I get more time to prepare and be character specific. And television goes so fast. I prefer television as a director. I prefer directing television over acting on television. But I learned a long time ago an actor's trick that you brothers are welcome to borrow. It was taught to me by Roscoe Lee Brown, the late Roscoe Lee Brown. Roscoe was one of the guys, Cleavon Little, Stan Lathan, all these cats brought me up in the game, right? Taught me Moses Gunn, they taught me a lot of stuff. And Roscoe saw me having a fit with this director who kept changing what I was doing. And Roscoe said, "Come here, young man." So he pulled me to the side and he whispered in my ear, he said, "Most of these people think actors are fools. So this is an opportunity for you to do the kind of art you want to do as an actor and pretend to be the fool." He said, "Do what you want to do because the director can't get in front of the camera themselves. Do what you want to do and ask the director, is that it? Take after take after take until the director has been exhausted." He said, "Then you will succeed at creating the images that you believe in and not some schizophrenic director."
Yeah.
And so that's the trick I've been using all these years. From the time I was a little boy, I go, "Is that it? Like that?" And I know good and well that ain't what this dude. You know what I'm saying? I go, "Oh, okay, got you. He can't shoot it all day anyway. He got to go move on and go. God, he's so stupid." But Roscoe Lee Brown taught me that. Go ahead and pretend to be the fool.
That is so true.
Yeah,
it's so true.
Wow. That's right. Because people only really know you as personalities, what's the one thing that you wish people knew or understood about you?
Oh, I'm not starting this time.
Oh, okay. Oh, okay. All right. Man, I'm kind of transparent. I kind of even on I call it my little social media. I'm a family man. Like I was talking about it earlier. That's one of the first things that I bring up in any conversation is that I take care of my mother, my 2 sisters, my 5 nieces, my 1 nephew, and now my great niece. I'm the only man in their lives, you know. And I wear that with honor, and it's about legacy for me, and that's very important. So like family is first to me. Everything that I'm doing, the reason that I'm an actor is, it was one crazy day, not crazy day, but I was outside hanging out with with the thugs, and I saw this lady coming down the alley, and for some reason I couldn't take my eyes off of her, and to the point where like everybody seemed to disappear around me, and I could just focus on this lady. And as she got closer, I realized she was exhausted, and it was my mother. And it broke my heart into so many pieces, because as many of you strong black women out there know, like when you come in the house, you put on that, especially for your kids, you put on that superwoman outfit. Like I never saw my mom weak. I only saw my mother cry twice. When I stole something from Walmart, and when my grandmother passed. That's the only 2 times. I haven't seen her weak, not even like stressed, anything. Never seen her weak. So to see her in her, in a vulnerable state was something, I was shocked. It was something that I'm like, oh, she is human. Like she needs help. And from there, that's when I decided I would do everything in my power to provide for my family. So, for me, it's about being family.
The question was, we know you as these personalities, but what is something about you that you wish that people knew about you that they possibly don't?
I'm just like you. I think sometimes people forget that we're just like everybody else. We are you, in fact. Language is so important. What you call yourself, what other people call you, matters. And the way you greet me or address me actually kicks off the relationship. So if you want a real relationship with me, call me your brother. Don't call me Bubba. Don't call me leather vest in the summertime. Start in a real place. And then you get a real relationship. Because for us as actors, the actors that I roll with, if somebody comes at us with a character thing first, they're not being real. And we know it right away. And we'll be warm to you, but we'll get away from you as fast as we possibly can. But if you start, hey brother, hey sister, man, I love your work. Girl, I love what you're doing. I love what you said, you pull us in. So just remember just that we're real, and we're looking for you to be real when you meet us, because we are telling stories to reflect you and who you are. So be real with us. That's all.
Yeah. I like to say that acting is what I do. It's not who I am. Absolutely. And a lot of people, they fail to understand that part of it. Like I don't do nothing. I go to work and I go home. Like I don't.